Hello traders, this is Blake Morrow and you are listening to the week ahead video for April 16th, 2017. I hope you guys are having a great holiday weekend. It's been a long weekend for those of us here in the United States. I know a lot of people in Europe are also celebrating Easter Monday, and you might have a 3 or maybe even 4 day long weekend. I hope you guys are all just having a great time and spending a lot of time with your family and friends. But while you're doing that, I'm going to give you a little analysis on the currency market, and so is the rest of our ForexAnalytix team. Now, before I get into the analysis, let's get this stuff out of the way. If you guys haven't taken a chance to try out ForexAnalytix, it is $1 for 10 days. Make sure you sign up. You can do it right here on our website, right on the homepage at ForexAnalytix.com. And then once you do that, make sure you get the mobile application for Android and Apple devices. You can just find it in the stores. Download it. It's great to get notifications when you're on the fly, especially during the week as we're uploading information and uploading setups and support and resistance level breaches throughout the course of the week. You don't have to be in front of your computer anymore. You can also get notified when you're on the fly, and it's a really great resource for those of you that trade currencies actively. All right, now that I've gotten that out of the way, there's a few things that I want to talk about this week. You know, if you let's go over to let's go over to the homepage. Actually, let's just go over to the traffic light page, and you can see a lot of the analysis from our team has been uploaded for the week. We have this this new feature on ForexAnalytix, which can show you the different updates that have been published by our team, and a lot of them have been uploaded for the week. But there's a couple things I really wanted to talk about. And because if you look at the dollar and where it's at right now, and you look at the next week at what we've got going on, there isn't a whole lot. I mean, we've got Chinese GDP coming out Sunday night, which everybody's going to be looking at. We got the RBA has their monetary policy meeting minutes Monday night. Well, Monday night for us, Tuesday morning for Australia. We have like New Zealand dairy auction results that are going to be out on Tuesday. That might be a bit of a market mover. And then also New Zealand has CPI on Wednesday. That might be a little bit of a market mover as well. We have the Philly Fed in the US, and retail sales for the UK on Friday, and then inflation data on Friday for Canada. Not a huge week for economic data this upcoming week. Again, plus on Monday, a lot of the world will be celebrating Easter Monday, so it might be a little slow to start the week. But you look at the dollar index, and the dollar index isn't really giving us a whole lot either. I mean, if you take a good look at this daily chart, I'm gonna show you what I'm and the rest of the team. This isn't even my analysis, but my analysis is in line with what you see here on the dollar index. We're in you could call it a triangle pattern. You can see how the dollar has this downsloping red trend line. We have this upsloping blue trend line, and we happen to be smack dab in the middle of this triangle. Was looking like a head and shoulder pattern. We lost the symmetry there. It's been very choppy. The dollar has been directionless. I think a lot of people are trying to figure out what to do with the dollar as the Fed is raising rates, and after this last week's data, you saw the retail sales data and also the inflation data come in worse than expected on Friday. That might put some dollar pressure on the market to start the week, because traders might start to look at that and say, well, is it realistic that the Fed's going to raise rates another 2 or 3 times this year? Yeah, I don't know. The jury's still out, but those question marks might put a little bit of pressure, downside pressure, on the dollar index. But that isn't what I'm looking at right now, because when you're in the middle of a triangle, you're in the apex of this triangle. You can see it right here. There really isn't reason to get too bullish or bearish the dollar as a whole when you're talking about the dollar index. So that's when you have to search elsewhere. And I'll tell you, looking at a couple of things, let's go over to the dollar yen. The dollar yen has been beaten with the ugly stick the last couple of weeks. I mean, you look at the dollar yen, and here's what's happened with the dollar yen. We've slid quite extensively since Donald Trump was inaugurated. Ironically enough, when he said that the dollar has been strengthening since he's, the confidence in him, the dollar's actually been on the slide. And if you looked at the dollar index too, it's actually been falling ever since the new administration has been in. Dollar index, or excuse me, the dollar yen has been no exception. We've slid all the way down to the 200-day moving average. You see how we're at the 200-day moving average? We're also at channel support. So what does that mean? Well, that means we might have some support here for the dollar after having such a slide over the course of the last couple of months. Now, does it make sense to run out and just start buying the dollar yen right now? I don't know. I mean, we're trying to get through this long weekend, and we have issues arising in North Korea, a lot of geopolitical tensions. So I don't know if that's necessarily the right play, but we are on support. Okay, so that's one. Then, I started to look at the euro dollar, and I say, well, we have the French elections coming up. Are we going to have this continued populist movement globally where we see Marine Le Pen really, become the next president of France? Is that possible? Well, the French elections on the 23rd, we're gonna, I think it's the first or second round. Anyway, we're gonna get a little bit better picture of what's happening in France in the next week or two. So, with that being said, the euro might not really sell off a whole lot from here, especially if Le Pen starts to lose some of her support going into the next week or two. The euro might bounce. Well, if the dollar yen can possibly bounce and the euro dollar could possibly bounce, well, then that turns my attention to the euro yen. And actually, before I even draw that, you can see here on the euro yen, let's take a look just on ForexAnalytix. Here's the euro yen, and you can see just at the euro yen in general, we are at the 618 retracement of the spike low last summer to the high just before, just towards the end of the year. We're at the 618 retracement. We're also at the 161% extension of this last rally, okay? And we're really oversold. Do you see that? So I'm not a harmonic expert. One of the benefits of ForexAnalytix is we can rely on other people's analysis. For harmonic analysis, Nicola Duke happens to be our in-house harmonic analysis specialist. However, she hasn't uploaded her analysis yet at this stage in the game, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. So if you take this low right here, okay, around 112.60, okay, and then you draw up to the highs here at around 124 yen, then down here to this dip, which is, you'll notice, see how it's a 50% retracement? Do you see that? Then the rally back, the recovery, that's going to take us right to about 122.80. That's also a 78% retracement. You see that? Now you come all the way down here, and you've got your 161% extension close to also an 88 or 78% retracement. And even if we extended a little further towards an 88% retracement, that would take us down to which would still be in line with a Gartley pattern, would take us down to the trendline support. So what I'm trying to point out here is somewhere between 115 yen and 114 yen, we should have a lot of support here for the euro yen. Now, is that a complete reversal of what we've seen? No, not necessarily, but could we get a dead cat bounce? That, in my opinion, is very possible. Now, if you think about this, the euro yen has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just save you the agony here. 14 consecutive red candles. 14. That's not to say we can't have 15, 16, 17. Sure. But what I'm trying to tell you here is somewhere between where we're currently at and maybe down here around 114, we could see a possible bounce higher in the euro yen. Now, is that a possible, complete reversal? I don't know. I think there's got to be a lot has to happen in order for this to be a full-on reversal, but could we get a bounce? I think it is possible based on what we're seeing in the euro dollar and the dollar yen, and if we can get past some of these geopolitical tensions, and with the elections upcoming, if maybe Le Pen loses some of her recent support, that would be supportive of the euro itself. So this is something I'm paying attention to. Then on top of that, obviously we're grossly oversold in the euro yen. Look at the daily RSI, very oversold. I mean, we're at levels I don't think we haven't seen since 2015, since this move lower. And then, you look at other yen pairs. The pound yen's sold off a lot. The Aussie yen being supported by the 200-day moving average. The New Zealand yen has had an aggressive move lower. The Canadian yen has also had a nice move lower below the 200-day moving average. We're all at fairly extreme prices, and this is divergent relative strength, by the way, on the Canadian yen, where we could see at least a bounce in some of these yen pairs. And then, just going back to the dollar yen as a whole, we are on channel support. We're near a 618 retracement. We are on the 200-day moving average. We could see a bounce here. So taking that all into account, well, we might get some dead cat bounces, especially if risk appetite can pick up going into early next week. Anyway, that is what I wanted to bring to your attention for this week on this Week Ahead video. Now, remember, if you have not tried out ForexAnalytix, make sure you do that. This is a really, really great product. And I'm saying that not just because I, helped design and develop it with the rest of the gang, but because it really keeps you on top of analysis throughout the course of the week. And we can do it on a mobile basis like no other company out there. Make sure you try it out. It's only $1 for 10 days. So, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you listen to our daily free webinars hosted by the one and only Dale Pinkert every day at 9 a.m. Eastern. You guys and gals have a great trading week. I hope you knock it out of the park, and I'll see you next week.